Napoleon was a historical figure who impacted France and the rest of Europe during his time as a political and military leader. Napoleon's father was Carlo Bonaparte, who was born on March 29th, 1746 in Ajaccio, Corsica. He was educated and studied law at the University of Pisa when he grew up, and after he returned from getting his education, he married, without the consent of his relatives, to Letizia Romolino. He fought under Pasquale Paoli for the independence of Corsica after he married his wife. When King Louis XV selected 400 Corsican families to be considered noble, the Bonaparte family, included Carlo, was among the families selected. Carlo was named royal counselor and assessor for the town and province of Ajaccio in 1773. In 1777, he resided several years at Paris as a member of the deputation of Corsican nobles and was fortunate enough to secure a free admission for his eldest son, Joseph, to the seminary of Audun Cathedral. Napoleon was admitted into the military school of Brienne, and his daughter was admitted to the educational institution at École de Saint-Cyr. After a couple of misfortunes, he and his family didn't have a lot of money until Napoleon became emperor and took care of his family that way. Carlo then went on to Montpellier for the benefit of his health around 1779, but did not recover and died on February 29, 1785. Napoleon's mother was Letizia Romolino, who was born on August 24, 1750, in Ajaccio, Corsica. There isn't much that is known about her early life up until she married Carlo Bonaparte, Napoleon's father. However, when she was left a widow after the death of Carlo, she did not remarry but instead removed herself to Marseille, France. After Napoleon became first consul, she moved to Paris, France, and had a separate establishment assigned to her, even though she liked to remain neutral and did not like to get involved with the works of her son. While alive, she conducted herself with great discretion, performing her part in the station to which she had been unexpectedly elevated to. Although she now had tremendous power, thanks to Napoleon, she never allowed herself to forget that the sudden rise of her family might one day be terminated by an equally sudden fall. After Napoleon was exiled to Elba in 1814, she decided to join him, and after the events at Waterloo, decided to retire to Rome and live with her stepbrother, Cardinal Fench. She lived in Rome until her passing on February 2nd, 1836, at the age of 86. Napoleon Bonaparte was a Corsican-born French political and military leader whose empire dominated much of Europe during the beginning of the 19th century. Napoleon attended the military schools Brienne-le-Château and École Militaire, where his military genius helped him rapidly move up the ranks within the military during the final years of the First French Republic. Napoleon won many battles for France during the time serving in the military and was eventually coronated as Emperor of France. Since Napoleon was gaining rapid control over much of Europe, he gathered enemies from all over. England, Austria, and other European superpowers opposed the French Empire ruled by Napoleon and banded together in coalitions to defeat the emperor. These battles were known as the Napoleonic Wars. Napoleon, who was gaining rapid prestige and power following his victories in Italy, decided to take on Hoche's anti-British and pro-invasion policies during the year 1797. This meant that Napoleon forced his military to focus much of their strengths in trying to completely annihilate England. He believed that if they did not completely destroy England, they could expect itself to be destroyed by the intriguing and enterprising islanders. Once they got rid of England's influence within Europe, then Napoleon believed that Europe as a whole would practically be at his feet for the taking. In 1802, however, after being somewhat defeated by the British, Napoleon decided to sign the Treaty of Amiens, which made France and Great Britain peaceful towards each other. Since both sides were still intensely suspicious of each other, the treaty was broken in 1803 and they went back to being enemies. After Napoleon fell out of favor with Robespierre, he came into good relations with the Directory in 1795 after he saved the government from counter-revolutionary forces. For his efforts, he was soon named commander of the Army of the Interior and was also a trusted advisor to the Directory in military matters. In 1796, Napoleon led the helm of the Italian army. After winning so many battles and expanding the French Empire, he soon turned into the French military's brightest star. Under Napoleon's rule, he turned his reforms to the country's economy, legal system, education, and even the church as he reinstated Roman Catholicism as the state religion. During his reign, he also negotiated European peace, which sadly lasted 3 years before the start of the Napoleonic Wars. In 1802, he was elected consul for life, and 2 years later, he was proclaimed Emperor of France. The battle that ended Napoleon's reign is said to be his attack on the Russian Empire during the late fall to early winter months when traveling by foot through Russian soil was almost impossible thanks to the snowfall that they received during those months. Due to the fact that they didn't expect to be attacking the Russians for such an extended period of time, they did not come prepared to face the harsh winters of Russia and had little food prepared as well. They ended up either starving or dying of the cold, hence forcing Napoleon to retreat from Russia and give up his efforts of making it his. Napoleon died on May 5, 1821, on the island of St. Helena, and was buried in Paris, France, in the Dôme des Invalides. The building was originally a royal chapel between 1677 and 1706, but was turned into a military pantheon under Napoleon's rule. Napoleon's son and 2 brothers, Joseph and Jerome Bonaparte, were also buried there alongside him.